What's up guys? Welcome back to another episode of Views for Build. In today's episode, we're gonna remodel the garage into the ultimate DIY paint booth. We're gonna go from this to this. I hope that looked impressive. I haven't done construction work ever. So let's get started. Stay tuned. All right, let's get started. No idea where to get started, but we're gonna get, started. We just finished framing up the ceiling, so you can see we just follow the board pattern across as it goes, as it was starting over here with what I think is called a truss, and now they go across. And that's to give us some stuff to bolt into, and we're gonna hang our drywall across the ceiling and laying our insulation inside there. So that came out pretty great. Next thing that we need to do is demolish this wall. So we're gonna grab some hammers, and these are it's just like 1/4-inch little plywood board here that I believe is between the studs. So we're gonna pull all this down, we're gonna pull the lighting down, we're gonna have to take our wonderful table of Craftsman tools and move it elsewhere, probably temporarily move it over here. We're gonna take out all this walling as well. So all of this stuff has gotta go. The demolition stage is done. We had a lot of fun pulling all that stuff out, so we're down to the bare studs on the walls that we're gonna be drywalling and insulating. But before we do that, we're gonna do a little bit more framing because I wanna have a 45-degree angle on our ceiling. See, on the screen right now, I'm gonna show you a picture of what a paint booth looks like. And they have these 45-degree angles coming from the ceiling down to the wall to project light on the car at a nice angle. I would like to have that as well. So we're only gonna be able to do it in certain sections because we have the garage door right there and we have the unused chimney over here. I'm aware of that, but we still can fit 2 nice lights up there, and I think it's really going to help us be able to see the surface that we're painting on better. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So to do that, we're going to need to frame coming from that stud, that furthest stud right there on a 45-degree angle down to the wall right there. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. We're going to be framing from about there to there, and then from over there to the garage door opening over there. All right, we just finished our 45s on this side and this side as well. So next we're gonna start on the insulation in these walls. These walls were built way out of spec. This whole place was just built by some guy going like, oh, that'll work. So we're gonna continue with that methodology. So we have 2-foot wide insulation, but we have 22-inch wide beams. So it's gonna be a bit of a squeeze. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and insulate this wall and get ready for drywall. The insulation up, it was total pain because it wasn't wide enough. It said 2-foot wide insulation, that's not 2 feet, but anyways, it doesn't really matter. We cut strips, we got it all in there. The blank spots are where we're gonna do lighting. We didn't want to mix insulation and lighting for fire safety reasons. So it's all up. Now Kyle and I are gonna start hanging insulation or drywall on this wall. Neither Kyle and I have ever done drywall before, so we're gonna make a lot of mistakes. If you're a professional, just sit back and count them. Have a good time, and just don't take this as a kind of DIY. Just take this as pure entertainment of us trying to learn how to do something. Last night we wrapped up our first wall. We've officially drywalled one wall. Very proud of that. Now Kyle and I are gonna divide and conquer on this wall. He's gonna work on insulating and drywalling this back wall. I'm gonna work on framing out our slanted ceiling thing. You guys will kind of see what we're going for in a second, but basically we're gonna connect that roof beam up there down to that, and then that down to that, and I'm gonna be building the supports that the drywall is gonna be able to go into once we get done with this back wall. Things are starting to take shape. We've got a lot of drywall up, and we're gonna go ahead and insulate some of these wall stuff. So you can see how it's gonna go from the ceiling, arc down and arc down. I'm really just trying to have no spots where dust or anything can collect. And we're doing recessed lighting as well, which you're gonna see and take shape here. So we have that right there, that right there. That whole back thing is all drywalled off, and then this is also on its slant, and we have our 2 holes for our lights. Which I think it's an optical illusion, but that one looks a lot bigger than that one. I don't know, we'll figure that out. Maybe we're just gonna have a bigger light up there, I'm not really sure. So the next thing we're gonna go ahead and do is throw insulation on that walling, and we're gonna get started on the ceiling, and then we're gonna work our way backwards. Status update. The roof is more done than not done, but we have the hard part with all the wires and the weird stuff to go over. We're gonna recess a little bit, come down so we can clear that wire. It's gonna be a little bit tricky. Other than that, Chelsea has joined us and she is working on mudding. So she's mudding and taping the joints between the drywall. And given that we had some pretty large seams, it's a bit challenging, but it's working. So now Kyle and I are gonna go ahead and screw in a bunch of boarding to recess that down and then seal up the rest of the back of that, and that will finish off the back of the ceiling, and then we can start working on the back wall. Okay, we finished the ceiling and the back door. Don't worry, we're gonna cut another hole in there, you know, as soon as we need it. So that's all drywalled up. Now we have a little bit of finishing touches to do in these corners by the lights. We need to put our glass in front of our lights as well and run a little bit more insulation in the ceiling. So we're gonna kind of divide and conquer. Insulation in the ceiling is gonna happen. Glass in front of the lights is gonna happen. And we're gonna go ahead and do more mudding and taping all the way around. This place is looking insane. We've clearly finished mudding and taping everything. So every seam is mudded and taped over. That's to seal out those outer elements. That's what I'm using it for. Also, you know, contractors would use it to try and make a pretty wall, but that's not, we're not in the business of trying to make this look pretty. All the elements from behind that wall are sealed out by mudding and taping that seam up. We finished our recessed lighting. So if you guys remember before, we just had a light hanging out here on the wall. Now they're recessed behind a piece of plexiglass. So that plexiglass is gonna seal out everything from behind that wall. Also adds a layer of safety for when you're painting in here, and that's also why we run LED lighting as well. So we got all of our lighting is all taken care of, and we have filled up any large gaps with spray foam. So I'm gonna come in, that's the first thing I'm gonna be doing this morning, is I'm gonna trim off any of that spray foam. And then it is finally time to paint this place. So we're gonna be using a white paint, that way we can easily see dirt and debris on the walls as we need to clean it. We're gonna be doing 2 layers of a heavy duty primer, and then we're gonna be doing a semi-gloss white. We're using semi-gloss white because it's going to be easier to clean than say like a flat or a satin color. That gloss in there actually kind of gives it a little layer that is easier to clean up on. So that's the whole idea. I mean, the whole purpose of why we're trying to get these smooth walls with these nice angles and everything like that is to eliminate dust collection, and then when there is dust or debris collection on the walls, we should be able to just grab a tool and very, very quickly wash our walls before spraying a car. So let's get it painted. It's painted. This place looks phenomenal. I'm so happy with the way that this turned out. It looks so good. We may do one more coat of paint. I'm not sure. I'm gonna sleep on it. We're gonna leave the plastic over the plexiglass. The plexiglass has a thin layer of plastic over it. We're gonna leave that over that in case we wanna come back and paint one more time. And one of the final things that I'm gonna do is deal with this water line right here. That's the hot water for the house, so we can't get rid of it. There's gotta be a way to deal with that so it'll kind of stay clean, a little bit more clean, and not collect dust and stuff like that. But overall, just a huge, huge, amazing improvement on this space. And it's the first step in our ability to be able to do a good paint job in here. So that's the first step done. We've got a great space to be painting in. The next step is gonna be in the next episode when we upgrade the rest of our painting system. That means a new air system. We're gonna run a turbine air system and new guns that also come with that. So I'm very excited to test that. And we're gonna test those out by testing a paint match for the Lamborghini to see if we can get a good match or not. And that's gonna decide whether we paint the Lamborghini in here or if we take it to somewhere else to get it professionally done. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. So much respect. Shout out goes to all the contractors out there in the world that do this all the time. Huge props. Your job is extremely hard. If you ever thought of moving into cars, I would say it's a little easier. You might want to do it if you like it. If you're watching this show. All right guys, thank you so much for being patient while we did this. A lot of work, but it was totally worth it. And I will see you guys very soon with the next episode.